What's up, you guys? It is Kotetsu here, and today is going to be part 2 of the podcast. Now, I know I said that we were going to upload yesterday, but some things happened, wasn't able to upload and edit during that time, but you guys are watching it now. This episode, we're going to be talking about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, what we saw in the gameplay trailer. You guys will be seeing the gameplay trailer as well, and what we can expect from this game, and what we're excited about to see in this game. But without further ado, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on the One Up Crew podcast on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, we'll probably be there. But let me be quiet now so you guys can listen to this podcast, and I will see you guys later.
We can move on to the meat and potatoes, and I do
Oh
not
yeah.
mean I don't mean that lightly. They
hmm
showed off more gameplay of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which I'm gonna say it quickly. That game, like when it was first shown off, I was like, yes, this is what I want. Like I honestly thought it was Breath of the Wild 2 at first. I was like, wait, Breath of the Wild 2? But I was still like, yes, okay, this is what I want. Because in Breath of the Wild, that was the one thing I really felt was lacking was the story. Like, yes, you got the cutscenes where you had the memories where you could go back and have a glimpse. But I wanted to go like take a full deep dive. I wanted to experience the war. I wanted to know exactly what went down. And I like that in Age of Calamity, you get to see that. And it's also a Muso game, but it makes sense because it's a war, and it actually plays like a Zelda game. It doesn't feel like you're playing the Warriors game. It feels like you're playing just a Breath of the Wild game. Um, but let me move on to the things they showed off. So, the first thing they showed off was Urbosa, which I like. I mean, just the fact that we could play as the champions. This game is really good. But Urbosa has a lightning attack where she can charge it up and attack enemies with lightning, which looks really cool. And then they also showed off Zelda, which has a special ability to use the runes. So like, for those who play Breath of the Wild 1, with the Sheikah Slate, you're able to activate different rune abilities. So Zelda primarily uses that for attacks. They also showed off the world map, where it's basically the same world map that was in Breath of the Wild 1, and you could use that to go from level to level. You're able to unlock areas, cook food, enhance weapons, and what you can also with recipes they can give you buffs before battles. So certain recipes have certain abilities, and you can activate that before you start a battle. So like, let's say you have a boss that's immune to lightning, and there's a food item that gives you lightning. You can enable it before you start, and it'll give you a little advantage. Um, some facts that they mentioned during the treehouse. Link is from Hateno Village, which I did not know that. I did not know that from Breath of the
Yeah, me
Wild
neither.
1. You can also change your armor. Impa was shown off in gameplay, which man, Impa so far looked like the best character so far. She has a clone
Yeah,
ability,
yeah,
and
it
they showed
looks
her
really
off
cool.
during a Hinox battle, which was pretty intense. Like that thing was huge, had a
Yeah,
lot of damage, but Impa's move set is really good. I can't wait to play as her. The cool
yeah,
thing about Age of Calamity is that in different scenarios you're able to choose between different characters on the fly, which
mhm.
is kind of cool, just like in Hyrule Warriors 1. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I'm gonna stop talking and let you guys talk.
That's fine. Oh man, yeah, I'd love to let you guys know how I'm feeling about this. Like, the game looks really good. I love Musou games, otherwise known as the Warriors titles over here. Like, they're really fun. Um, and I think Age of Calamity makes a lot of sense, and it works really well for the story it's trying to tell. Like, I'm super interested to play as all the different characters and just kind of experience certain things that Breath of the Wild didn't really personally cater to me in a way. Like, I think a more action oriented story in this sort of world makes a lot of sense, and it seems like it'll be really fun and just it's gonna be cool. I'm excited to play it. And like about Impa, actually, man, that character looks really fun. But I do have one hilarious gripe. I
Hmm.
really, really, really like the original Hyrule Warriors version of Impa. Like just a tad bit more. Sadly, like she has like a big great sword and everything, and she's just so cool. And it's like, man, uh, but this Impa is cool too. There's definitely a difference, and it certainly shows like, yeah, every Zelda game is vastly different from each other, and like
Yep.
nothing has to be like all
Exact
connected in
like
one way.
exactly the same.
Like it's very it's a breath of fresh air, a breath of the wild, if you will.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, Adam. So do you think that with Age of Calamity, like, do you think that like the previous Higher Warriors is canon now because of this game?
Uh,
Like even though it's not the same
I
universe, you know?
I think it's its own beast. I think like um it's probably like its own little canon, like just tethered around everything else. It's just kind of like, hey, here's a little alternate universe over here where it's like, hey, this Link is here and he's ready to kill. Oh boy.
Yeah.
uh
Now, you know what would be kind of cool, Adam? Like if they was to go back to Higher Warriors Definitive Edition on the Switch
mm,
and have DLC where you could play as Breath of the Wild Link in it.
that that would be cool, but I don't think they'll do it. I
just
want
Yeah, yeah. It's highly
just just
unlikely.
to interject, well, it's not the Breath of the Wild Link, but you do get his costume in the
yeah,
in the
yeah,
in
you
that one.
like
Like they
I
added
Oh,
that
you
in
do.
there. Yeah, they added
yeah,
that in there.
Okay. Yeah, I've only played a little bit of Hyrule Warriors 1. I did play it on the Wii U and 3DS.
yeah,
But I actually want to actually play it again some more
me too.
just because of the hype of this game. I was gonna mention before I move it over to Kotetsu that I am excited about the voice acting. Like
Yeah, same.
earlier this week they showed off a a video for two new characters. Well, not not new in Breath of the Wild, but new characters for Age of Calamity. Robbie and Pyrrha, and they have voices, which is crazy. That's the other cool thing about this game is that characters who didn't have voices in Breath of the Wild have voices in this game,
Yeah,
and just so freaking cool. Like Pyrrha and her energy, like young, like it's
yeah,
just so cool.
yeah. I like the looks of that character. I don't really remember them that much from Breath of the Wild because I sadly didn't play too much of it. But uh, yeah, it does look like a really fun character though.
Uh,
Okay, Kotetsu, let's
um,
hear your thoughts.
I mean, honestly, you guys pretty much covered it. The game does look awesome. I can't wait for it either. The the direction was perfect. I know I've heard a lot of things where people were like, why they do a Muso style, and it's just like for a game like that where it was such a pivotal point to Breath of the Wild, you can't do it like Breath of the Wild was because it would take away so much of what that whole war was like a I don't want to say a 10-year war, but it was just like it was such a pivotal point in that in the world of Breath of the Wild. So you couldn't have done it in a conventional sense. So you would had to do it how the Muso style because you were able to get that feeling of actually being in combat with all these different enemies.
Yep.
And the care like I'm very happy that they continued the art style for the game. I was very happy that they decided to hold on to that art style because you can't call it a Breath of the Wild game, but then keep it how you want.
Yeah.
Do it your own way. And I was very
Yeah.
appreciative.
You have to go like all in with it.
Yeah, and I appreciated the fact that um that gosh, I said the wrong let's say Team Ninja. They are Team Ninja, but they're they said, "Yo, we want to make this game, but we want you guys to run it." You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're gonna ask you guys what needs to be done to make this game how it should be. And for them to kind of a lot of developers they take a license and they say, "Cool, we're going to make it how we want to do it." But for a
Yep.
developer to say, "Yo, Breath of the Wild is such a huge genre, we don't want to mess it up by trying to do it our way. So we want you guys to quarterback it, and we'll just, we'll handle the gameplay, and you guys just tell us what needs to be done to make this game how it is. And and it came out to be an awesome game. Just to kind of highlight some things that I saw, I like the fact that they kept the feature where Link can wield different weapons. Because if you saw in the trailer, in the gameplay trailer, he was able to use a hammer, and that hammer had some pretty sick uh, combinations to it. It didn't look like you were playing too heavy with it. It felt like he was like so fluid with that hammer.
Yep.
Um, he
And,
didn't
and
get. Oh, go ahead.
I know I can say the cool thing about the weapons is that unlike Breath of the Wild, they don't break. And also you can
Mm-hmm.
upgrade it with a blacksmith, which just a side note, I
Yeah, and
want a
that's
blacksmith in Breath of the Wild too. Please, please,
yeah,
please.
and that's true Muso style. Like in Muso games, you have a blacksmith. In Muso games, where you can bring up the rarity of your weapons, and add different attributes to those weapons, so then they can slay horses, or they can slay dragons, or they do more damage to, like, ground grunt units, or captains will have more stun, or something, like, something of that nature when it comes to the blacksmith and making weapons. Trying to go back and I actually have it up for me right now too. I'm kind of watching it too, but I think the game's gonna be absolutely cool. To speak on what you said earlier, Cliff, about the voice acting, um, there was voice acting, but there was so very little, and you only saw
Yeah.
them in like pivotal points in the game to where there was a story to be told. Like when you meet up with Impa for the first time, and she tells you about the great Calamity, and that was all voice. That part was voice acted. Or you have those
Or
moments when Zelda's
like
calling out to you in the middle of a field or something like that. Or
or
like,
like during like the Great Plateau when you meet King Daphnis.
yeah, just like
And
all those, yeah, like those pivotal moments in the game that needed narration are the moments that we got voice acting. Um, I don't remember seeing too. I don't think there was any voice acting in or too much voice acting in Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition besides the narrative. Because it was like in true Zelda fashion, where everyone kind of grunted or whatever,
yeah,
and and you don't really see too much voice acting in too many Nintendo games already, besides like Star Fox or maybe Metroid, depending on what the game is. So to see that Zelda is starting to pick up you know, having voice actors brings the game more to. I feel like having voice acting brings games to life a lot more.
yes. And to be honest, like this is the direction I want to see the Zelda series go into because it basically all started for me on wanting voice acting since Skyward Sword because that game was kind of it had cinematic moments and I'm just here playing the game. I'm like I want to hear Zelda's voice. I want to hear Ruth's voice. I want to hear
Exactly.
Impa's voice. Like there was points in the game where I'm like, I just want to hear the voice. Like it would make it so much better. And by every home console Zelda game since Skyward Sword, with Breath of the Wild, they kind of went slightly up, but with this game they're going all the way to the top. So I
Mm.
can't even imagine what Breath of the Wild 2 is going to do with voice acting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be added a little bit more to that game, if they decided to just keep that kind of momentum of bringing their games to life with voice acting. Then there most likely will be. Now, to kind of speak on the gameplay, of course it plays like a standard Muso game, but you still get that feeling of Breath of the Wild, like you mentioned um, with the runes and the Sheikah slates. Now I know Zelda uses a Sheikah slate as her primary weapon, but I know that I believe all of the characters in the game have access to the Sheikah slate,
Yeah,
but
they
but I think that each character uses it differently. No one use I don't think anyone uses it the same way as anyone else does.
yeah.
they're it has to fit in their personality in some way. Now we've only
Yep.
seen what's her name? Oboris, I believe her name is. I forgot.
Oh, Urbosa?
Yeah, Ubosa. You know, we've only that's like the only champion we've seen gameplay from, besides Link, of course. But you know, I'm actually really excited if they give us any more gameplay. The character I really want to see is Riolo, because he's like my favorite character because he resembles Falco, and the need to do Star Fox Adventures 2 using his model as freaking Falco. But I think the game itself just looks amazing. All right, so I did end up cutting this episode a little bit short. It did go kind of long, but if you guys want to hear the full episode, go check us out on the One Up Crew podcast on, like I said, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, or wherever else you listen to podcasts will be on. If you guys want to watch the rest of that interview or hear the rest of the interview, just go check it out there, because it did go kind of long. But that's gonna be it, you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I can't wait for both of these games, honestly, especially Pikmin 3. I had a lot of fun with Pikmin 3. I really had enjoyed Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity gameplay. Also, we're almost close to 600 subs. If we get to 600 subs, I will do another giveaway for you guys, and it's probably going to be a digital copy of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So if you watch it all the way through, you're going to hear about this giveaway. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and check me out on twitch.tv/Kotetsu where we'll be streaming on there and on YouTube as well. But that's it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys on the next one. You guys take care.